Hi there everybody, this is Tracey from Lavinia Stamps. Today I just wanted to show you some of our new products that have come in. So we've got some lovely new ColorBox, lovely colours. We've got coral, really nice sort of summery peachy colour. We've got otter, which is a nice sort of grey brown. We've got a lovely pink called burgundy. We've got a really nice grey. This is pewter. It is quite a silvery grey. We have one called leather, which again is a brown, but it's quite a red brown, as you could imagine leather. We've got olive, which is a really lovely green. You've got a very deep blue. This is called deep sea. Beautiful jade, which is a really nice sort of bluey green colour. And then we've got a nice blue. This is called Bahamas, which is a nice sort of sky blue. Okay, so I'm just going to pop those to the side. I'm going to be working with some of these over the next few days. I'm also working with brushes today. So we've got turquoise, we've got lemon, and I've done a mix here of purple and rose red. You can mix the brushes. You can't put too many colours together because they'll go a bit brown murky. But just experiment, you know, put a little bit of red with a bit of yellow, just have a play and you'll be surprised at what different colours you can achieve. So this is our buddy cup. These are great for brushes. They come little sort of plastic cups here that you can take out. They come with lids, so at the end of the day when you finish with your brushes, just pop the lids on and it will keep them then until you go back to use again. If they do dry up in the meantime at any point, don't worry, they'll crystallise as brushes do. All you need to do is add a little bit of water to them and it just brings them back to life. So don't worry about that, but the lids do help keep them the way you left them, so that's the way I do it anyway. And I never have a problem. So I'm going to pop those to the side. We're going to be using our DL gel press today, and we're going to pick a colour. I think we'll go with the jade, sort of nice summery colour. We're going to be working with some flowers today. So using our Speedball soft rubber roller, I'm going to ink up in the jade. Now these ColorBox inks, as you can see, they are really nice, bright and juicy, brilliant for the gel press, simply because the water content in these it's not very high, so when you pop the ink onto the gel press it doesn't bead. Some ink pads, the water content is higher, and when you pop them on the gel press you'll find it all beads and creates quite a texture, and that's absolutely fine if that's what you want. I always like a smooth finish, which is why I always use the ColorBox. Really sort of highly pigmented colours that go such a long way. So okay, popping that to the side, then we're going to pick up the brushes, and using our fan brush I'm going to start with the yellow, and then I'm just going to flick a little bit of that on to the gel press, like so, and then moving on to the next colour. It's always good to clean your brush in between because again these inks are really highly pigmented and they can bleed into each other. So I'm picking up the violet and the rose red mix that I made, and again just popping that on like so. Okay, I'll move those to the side, and then taking a piece of our multifarious card, I'm going to pop that down over the top, give that a smooth over. And there we have our background, really fabulous colours in that, as you can see. Okay, so we'll just dry this off. Now with them being water-based, they will dry really quick anyway, but I'm just speeding things up for the camera now. Okay, I'm going to move my water over there. Just trim this down. I'm going to leave a little bit of a border around the edge. I think it can look quite nice. Drop a little bit more off that one. And there we go. Okay. Which way should we go? We'll go this way. So, as I say, we're going to be doing a floral card. So, which one shall we pick? Use one of our thistles here. Okay. So I'm inking up here with the Twilight Versafine Clair. You're all familiar, no doubt, with the Versafine Clair. These are an oil-based ink, which they're designed for detail. Now, our stamps are really very detailed. It takes us a long time to get the detail in them. So we wanted an ink so that you could see the detail, and this ink is superb for all of that. It's also really good for silhouette stamping because it's oil based. It gives you a really nice solid black or solid colour, whatever you're using. Okay, and I don't know whether you can see that on the camera, but that is just so much detail in that, and it's just depicted everything in there, which is fabulous. Okay. So again, I'm inking up in the Twilight, and this is a really nice colour actually. It's like a navy blue. If you don't want to stamp in black, this is probably the closest thing to a black, but it's a real nice midnight blue. Okay, so we're just picking some nice florals here. Keeping it sort of purples and greens to go with the background. Give that a press. Pop another one down here. this is Monarch. And this one is a old favourite of mine, this stamp. Just use it again and again, just love it. Okay, so I'm going to go around the edge of the card now, just using our smoothie and the Monarch. Nice and quick. Like so. Okay, so I'm going to use some embossing powders now, just, I don't know, just for a change really. I quite like using the Wow embossing powders. We've got Mistletoe Magic and we've got Velvet here, again sort of keeping our greens and purples. So I've just got to decide what flowers I'm going to pick to work with. And I think we'll work with some of our latest designs. Now this time we're going to be inking up, as you know, in the clear Versamark. This is like your clear glue for embossing powders. So ink that up. And we're going to stamp that down. Like so. And we'll do one other. Over here. There's something I forgot to say actually. Before you start using your Versamark, make sure that your card is completely dry, because when we're using embossing powders they will stick to anything that's wet. So if you only want it in the areas specifically that you've stamped, make sure that you dry the card first. Now I'm hoping that mine was dry, but we shall see. Yep, that's worked out pretty well, I think. So I'm just going to heat that up now. There we go. So that's one done. And I'm thinking we might have a little bit of white actually, just to get a balance on that. I'm going to pop something down here. Just having a play really, an experiment. I've got nothing to go off, but it's good to just play, isn't it, and see what comes out. So there's my Versamark. Okay, so inking up again, this time with the Lunar Buds. those in the corner, like so. And let's just see how this works. Okay. And we're going to heat those. I love layering colours and textures on cards. I just think they look fab. There we go. That's worked really well actually. You got all the detail in that with the embossing powders. I know sometimes we can lose the detail, but the Wow embossing powders I find really good for keeping detail. So now we shall have, let's pick a word. I think we need something to balance it up here. So I'm going to take the word dream and ink up again in the Versamark. And we're going to pop that down like so, and go back to the white. Just tap that off. That's great. There it goes, it's starting to melt now. Fab. Okay. So I'm thinking now we're just going to use just a verse here that we've got. I'm going to put a little bit around here. As I say guys, I'm just kind of making this up as I go along, so fingers crossed it'll work out. I suppose you just have to keep stopping and looking at your card. Sometimes it's worth even walking away and coming back to it. It just needs that one or two things just to get the balance. So I'm thinking we're needing just a few words around the edge. Yeah, I'm liking that now. Yeah, that's working. Okay, so I think I need a bit of more depth down here. So again, I'm going to pick up a purple. Just give it a little bit of depth. Because you can go over the embossing powders now. Anyway, they'll just stand out. And we're going to go up in the opposite corner, a bit of depth up there, like so. Okay, so finally, I think, what shall we put on? A little bit of the Sprinklet, the copper. I've added some water to it here. If I can find my fan brush, there it is. And then Okay, we need to add a little bit more water to that. I think it's gone quite thick. Don't want it too thick. And then I'm just going to use my hand just to sort of guide where I splash it. Because I don't want it going everywhere, just in certain places. Okay, so I'm just going to turn that upside down and blot it out. That's fab. Okay, so lastly, I'm really going for it now, aren't I? Lastly, we are going to use an iridescent gold, sprinkle it over the top. So dampen that down a bit and sprinkle the gold over the top. And we're going to dry that out. And it just gives us a little bit of glitter on the bottom there. Okay, so there we have it. I hope you can see that under the camera. But we've got a lot of texture, a lot of colour. We've got embossing powders, sprinklets. We've got a bit of everything on that, and I think it really works. I hope you can see the sparkle in that. Well, thanks for joining me, everybody, and watching and just sort of having fun with me. Until the next time anyway, so thanks guys, take care, see you now, bye.